Hey everybody, Dan Anderson here with Kingdom Way Ministries with today's Monday Mission Post to incite and outfit your kingdom leadership. We've been talking about stress these last few Monday posts because in December, let's be honest, we can experience a lot of it. Trying to finish year end goals and objectives, plan for the new year, budgets, working with holiday plans, and the like. So I wanted to share with you some thoughts this Christmas season that can mitigate our stress rather, and keep us on mission and accomplish all that God yet wants us to for before the end of this year. So we've been talking about this acrostic stress. STRESS. And today we're talking about the first S in stress. How do you mitigate and navigate through stress in this Christmas season as a business owner, as a nonprofit leader, ministry, in the workplace, as a valued participant and employee? So the S I'd like to share today has to do with your shadow self. Your shadow self. One of my favorite scriptures in the Christmas story is in Matthew chapter 2, where it says that a light has dawned and the light has come, speaking of Jesus who had arrived in the dark world where for 400 years no one had heard any revelation from God whatsoever. I just love that. Every time I read that, it just burns in my heart. And I think about Jesus being the light of the world and what that means for us. And the fact that Jesus came as the light of the world, there's so many ramifications. But one is that he came to shed light on our shadow selves. And just to share a couple ideas of how that plays it out, that creates stress in our lives every single day and holds us back from stepping into the fullness and completing our mission for Christ as kingdom leaders. One is the idea of the shadow self being someone who is trying to live up to spiritual definite or false definitions rather of spirituality and success. I'll give you a couple examples in my own life. One is a couple years ago, I went through this dark night of the soul, and part of it was because of a lot of challenges that happened in my life, and particularly some with my own kids. And I had set for myself up a definition that if I'm a godly person, if I'm going to have a kingdom impact, that I'm going to have kids that follow the Lord fully in every aspect of their life. And one of my kids was struggling. That was part of the put me in this tailspin for almost a year. And I finally came to grips with the fact, and God ministered this in my heart, is that success sometimes is not defined as we would think. And God's definition of success doesn't always match ours. And that we can't change some of the outcomes, we can only change the inputs. And so for me, that was liberating, and that was the light of God's word, the light of Jesus that was shown in my shadow self. And another is years ago, my wife and I were counseled by an amazing godly man, one of my seminary professors. And he shared with us every single morning. He'd get up at 5 in the morning, have devotions and prayer with his wife and conversation. And I remember going through the premarital counseling and him sharing that story. And I got this image in my mind of what spirituality is in terms of being a spiritual leader to my wife. And I tried to do that, my friends. It didn't work out so well. It just didn't work. And I realized, I was trying to live into a shadow of Harold Freeman, Dr. Harold Freeman's life, instead of how it worked for me and for us. And what's worked for us is for us to have time with God on an individual basis, and then we come together, especially on Saturday mornings, and just say, what is it that God's been speaking to you? And that just really has worked for us. Another shadow self of mine is that sometimes from my upbringing, I kind of came up with this mindset that it's up to me. And I won't get into all that story today, but a lot of times that mantras going off in my head, and it creates stress because I try to pursue this or that and the other thing, and when reality it's not just up to me. I have a role, but it's up to God. He's in charge of the outcomes, and so these things are just. So what is? I want to ask you, what is the shadow self that you are pursuing, or what is the false sense of spirituality as you define it that is really a shadow and not based in reality or what God would see as spirituality? I guarantee if you think about that just for a minute or two, things are going to come to mind. And if you have the guts to put it in the section below and how you've dealt with that, I'd love to hear your story. But if nothing else, if you're too chicken, put something in the below about comments about how the light of the world, Jesus, has impacted you and your business. We would love to hear it. So Christmas is just a few days away, and I'll be praying that you have a wonderful time with your family, your friends, and you be refreshed in every sense of the word. If you're interested in connecting with us on a deeper level, how we can come alongside you this next year, please reach out to us. We'd love to help. In the meantime, don't forget to seek to make Him famous as you make your work and your ministry one. Lord bless you.